Itor, in the quiet hum of a hill village, where mist clings to the pines like a soft blanket, masked away. A potter whose hands held the wisdom of generations reached into the cooling kiln. He lifted a freshly fired jar, its glaze the color of a twilight sky. But as his fingers traced its form, he felt it a hairline crack. A whisper of imperfection, running from the lip down to the belly. It was a flaw that shattered the piece's harmony. A sharp breath, and then a name barked into the stillness. Min. The sound was as brittle as the flawed ceramic. Wei's apprentice, a young man with earnest eyes, hurried to his side. Or, you rushed the clay? Wei accused, his voice tight with disappointment. He set the jar down on the stone floor, a little too hard, and the crack widened with a faint, tinkling sigh. Shards fell away like broken promises. Min bowed his head, his shoulders slumping, but offered no defense. The silence in the workshop was heavy, filled only with the crackle of the dying kill fire. Fuming, Master Wei stomped towards the clay pit, determined to prove the boy's carelessness. He would show him the coarse, poorly prepared clay that had led to this failure. He plunged his thumb into the batch, mixed the day before, expecting to find the telltale signs of haste air pockets' uneven moisture. Instead, he felt something else, a fine, coarse grit beneath his skin. A strange familiarity. He straightened up, a flicker of doubt crossing his features. He strode to his ledger, the heavy book where every detail of the workshop was meticulously recorded. He flipped through the pages, his finger tracing the lines of ink until it stopped on yesterday's entry. There it was, clear as day, his own mark. He, not Min, had mixed that batch. He had risen at dawn, his mind a tempest of worry. 2. The memory flooded back a restless night spent wrestling with the specter of aging hands. The fear of his renowned skill beginning to fade. He had carried that inner storm, that silent, bitter argument with himself, right to the potter's wheel. The anger, the frustration, the fear. He had kneaded it all into the clay. The crack in the jar wasn't Min's mistake. It was a map of his own troubled heart. Returning to the workshop, Wei found Min quietly sweeping the shards of the broken vessel. The master's footsteps were softer now, the anger in his stride replaced by the heavy weight of realization. He stood before his apprentice for a long moment. It was not your haste, Wei said, his voice lowered, carrying a new gentleness. It was my anger. He picked up the largest remaining piece of the cracked jar and handed it to Min. Let us grind it to powder, he proposed. We will use it to temper the next batch of clay. This time, we will add patience to the water. Together, side by side, they began the process anew. They worked in a quiet, shared rhythm, their movements synchronized. The rhythmic scrape of the mortar grinding the failed part into grog, the gentle slosh of water as they soaked the new clay. The steady, meditative pressure of their hands as they kneaded out every impurity, every bubble of air. The wheel began to turn, and under their combined focus, a new vessel rose from the spinning clay, smooth, balanced, and whole. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the floor, Wei placed a hand on Min's shoulder, his gaze fixed on their new creation. When the heart boils, he whispered, so softly it was almost a thought, the pot will show it. This story reminds us of a simple yet profound truth. The energy we carry within us shapes everything we touch. Before we mold the world around us, before we point a finger of blame, we must first look inward. We must learn to cool our own fire, to find peace in our own hearts. Because the greatest creations, whether from clay or from life, are born not from heat and haste, but from patience and a quiet mind. Thank you so much for joining me for this story. If it resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more tales of wisdom. Until next time, be well.